I'm like 75% sure that a bunch of you just clicked onto this video, thought I looked like a hooligan, and left. Well, if you give me 6 or 7 minutes, I promise that I will show you why you should not judge a book by its cover. Hey guys, Let's Go here. Bucket list goal number 775 is write 100 lists. Now I am quite excited about this video because I am all about inspiration. I love a good quote. One of my favourite things to do in my spare time is to uplift people, make people feel good about themselves, cheer people up, and today's list is gonna, I hope, do just that. I have written a list of 20 of my favourite inspirational quotes. Number 1 is by Brigham Young. He said, "If you have a bad thought about yourself, tell it to go to hell, because that is exactly where it came from." Now I don't know about you, but I believe that all human beings have at least one negative thought every day, and I stand by this quote so firmly. Our negative thoughts come from a negative place. If we want to be happy, then we have to send those thoughts back to where it came from. Quote number 2 by Mark Twain. "The best way to cheer yourself up is to try to cheer somebody else up." Quote number 3 is by Albert Einstein. "Everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid." We all have different abilities, we all have different skills. Please stop judging other people for being worse at something that you are good at, because for all you know, they might actually be much better at something that you can't do. And that is what we should be focusing on, people's abilities rather than their inabilities. Quote number 4 is by Wiz Khalifa. I don't even listen to his music, but I do very much love this quote, and it says, "Worrying is stupid. It's like walking around with an umbrella waiting for it to rain." I see so many memes and tweets about what it looks like to overthink, but we all do it. As hard as it may be, I really think that we should all collectively try to focus on our blessings than to worry about things that might not even happen. It's a waste of time, and it brings down our feelings, our emotions, and our energy. If you realise that your thoughts affect your energy, the more negative you feel or speak, the more tired you feel. Point number 5 is by Professor Dumbledore. "Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times, if one only remembers to turn on the light." Quote number 6. "Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die." Buddha. I do strongly believe that anger is a waste of an emotion. Nothing positive has ever come from being angry at another person. If you don't like someone, do what I do. Pretend they don't exist. Okay, maybe that's a little harsh. I guess what I'm trying to say is, if someone upsets you, someone makes you angry, it is best for you to keep away from that person rather than make a bigger conflict than it already is. Sometimes you'd rather get revenge or to get justice from what someone has done to you, but from all of my experiences, I have found that for my brain, my self-esteem, my emotions, my feelings, my energy, my vibes, it is much better to keep away from that kind of situation than to get involved further into it. Quote number 7, and now this one is a long one. If you haven't heard it before, then I do suggest taking a note of it, because this quote has helped me through so many problems, and I'm sure it will help a lot of other people through it as well. And this quote is by Marianne Williamson. "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our dark, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Quote number 8 is by Dr. Seuss, the king of poetry. The more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you will go. I strongly believe that one of the best ways to learn is by reading about whatever you are trying to learn from people who have already done it, especially those that aren't even alive anymore. You can just pick up a book, read their entire life, how they learned what they did. You can take all that skill and knowledge from a book. Number 9, I don't know how to say his surname. Henry Kissinger? He said, "A diamond is a chunk of coal that did well under pressure." Now, when we go through negative situations, we always look at the negative side of it. But if we try to focus on how that trial or that situation will make us into a better person, how we'll turn out once it's over, we would have better experience from that situation, no matter how hard it is. Speaking of reading, quote number 10 comes from a book I read called The Richest Man in Babylon. "When youth comes to age for advice, he receives the wisdom of years." If you want to learn something, if you want to be good at something, if you need advice or help, the best place to go is to someone so much older than you. I love having conversations with old people because they have so much life experience in one body. I just want to soak in all the experience. Quote 11, I don't know who it's from, and it says, "It's just a bad day. It's not a bad life." I know from experience that when you're going through something difficult, you can just focus on that. And it's hard to see what's ahead of you when you're stuck in that deep, dark emotion. The reason why I love this quote is because no matter how I'm feeling, it reminds me that this isn't going to last forever. These depressive, anxious moments will not last forever. There is an entire life ahead of us. Quote number 12 is from The Lion King. You remember that funny little monkey, Rafiki? He said, "The past can hurt, but the way I see it, you can either run from it or you can learn from it." Quote number 13 is from the book Little Women. "I am not afraid of storms, for I am learning to sail my ship." Quote number 14 is by J.K. Rowling. "Anything is possible if you've got enough nerve." Quote number 15 is by Nelson Mandela. "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." Quote number 16 by John Lennon. "When I was 5 years old, my mother always told me that happiness was the key to life. When I went to school, they asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. I wrote down happy. They told me I didn't understand the assignments, and I told them they didn't understand life." Quote number 17 by Mike Ditka. "You're never a loser until you quit trying." Quote number 18 by Edith Armstrong. "I keep the telephone of my mind open to peace, harmony, health, love, and abundance. Then, whenever doubt, anxiety, or fear try to call me, they keep calling a busy signal. And soon, they'll forget my number." Have you noticed how when you're in a bad mood, when you force, even if it's a fake smile, your mood elevates just a tiny bit? And I love the analogy of happiness being like a phone. It would be so much easier if we could on certain days just look at our caller IDs and be like, "Oh, anxiety's calling today, I'm not going to pick up," or "depression is calling today, I'm not going to pick up." Number 19 is from a book I read last year called The Amazing Power of Deliberate Intent, and it said, "It did not come instantly, it came finally after many, many thoughts." This is talking about enlightenment and how we can only realize and find knowledge through action, and how it will take several tries for us to reach a point where we do feel enlightened and happy about our situations. But like the quote I said earlier, if you keep trying and you don't quit, you will get there. And finally, quote number 20 is by Erica John, who said, "Advice is what we ask for when we already know the answer but wish we didn't." Sometimes we have to make difficult decisions, which sometimes means that we have to do something we don't want to do. If we strongly feel that we would be better without that thing, or that person, or that emotion, that job that's making us feel crap about ourselves, if we think about it long enough, or if we ask people who are more experienced than us, we will find an answer, and we will know within ourselves what is the right road for us to take. We all have our own individual roads. We can take as much advice as we can and then come to our own conclusion, and it is important for us to take the road which we think will make us happiest. These are just a few short quotes which allow me to think about my life and whether I'm going in the right direction, and they brighten my mood when I'm down. And I really hope that you guys can find these quotes inspirational and influential, and I also hope that you all have a wonderful week.